So this is the first we will see the procedure for analyzing the structures by using the flexibility matrix method, that may be continuous beam or frame. So this is the procedure. First, we need to determine, for the flexibility matrix method, we need to determine the degree of static indeterminacy of the structure. So degree of static indeterminacy, we need to calculate. For the, if you consider for beam, we will have external indeterminacy plus internal indeterminacy. So generally static indeterminacy will be consists of external indeterminacy plus internal indeterminacy. For the beams, only external indeterminacy will be there, internal indeterminacy will be 0. So for the beams, analyze for the calculation of static indeterminacy, we will use this formula. Static indeterminacy is equal to number of unknown reactions. Let us suppose if I consider the fixed beam, so number of unknown reactions or unknown redundant forces. So for the fixed beam, so here we have 3 unknown reactions. Here 3 unknown reactions. So number of unknown reactions or redundant forces is 6. Number of equilibrium equations is available to solve these unknowns. These are 3. Sigma fx is equal to 0. Sigma phi is equal to 0. Summation of moments at in section is equal to 0. There are 3 equations is available. So static indeterminacy for this fixed beam is 3. So static indeterminacy is 3. So likewise, we're going to calculate the first step. We're going to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy. So I want to take another example. So I want to take this is a hinged support. So this is a roller support, and here it is a roller support. So for this, I want to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy. So degree of static indeterminacy is equal to number of unknowns. Here we have 2 unknowns, one vertical reaction, one horizontal reaction. Here we have one vertical reaction. So for roller support, only vertical reaction is there. For roller support, one vertical reaction. For hinged support, 2 unknowns, one horizontal reaction, one vertical reaction is unknown. So total number of unknowns here we have 4, and the degree of equilibrium equations available here we have 3. So static indeterminacy of the structure is 1. So like that, we're going to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy for different types of beams. Okay. So in flexibility matrix method, first step we need to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy. Okay. So in next step, we need to convert that so that means static indeterminacy is there. That means it is an indeterminate structure. The static indeterminacy unta the indeterminate structure anamata. So we need to convert that indeterminate structure into determinate structure by releasing some forces, redundant forces. So first step, we need to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy. Second step, we need to convert the static indeterminate structure to determinate structure. How are we going to convert? We need to release those forces. We need to release the unknown forces. Okay. So this is the in second step, we need to convert indeterminate structure into determinate structure. Let us suppose. So this is a fixed beam is there. How to convert this indeterminate structure? So how to convert this indeterminate structure into determinate structure? So for this fixed beam, static indeterminacy, that is degree of static indeterminacy is equal to 3. So how to convert this degree of indeterminate structure into a determinate structure? By releasing 2 moments. By releasing 2 moments, so this structure will become, and by releasing another vertical, another horizontal reaction, then it will convert it into determinate structure. So right, if you draw the release structure, so this will be the release structure. I will right here. I will just erase this one. So fixed beam ni ఎట్లా రాస్తున్నా అంటే నేను ఒక హింజ్డ్ సపోర్ట్, ఒక రోలర్ సపోర్ట్, దీనికి ఒక applied moment apply చేస్తున్నా which is equal to fixed moment. Applied moment m which is equal to fixed moment, and here I am applying a moment which is equal to fixed moment, and I am applying horizontal force which is equal to horizontal reaction. So right, so this is similar to our fixed beam. So fixed beam reactions వస్తాయి కదండి, that is compensated by these applied forces. So the effect is said. Now this fixed beam we cannot analyze by using a static equilibrium equation, but this we can analyze by using static equilibrium equation, that is sigma fx is equal to 0, sigma fy is equal to 0, moment at any point equal to 0. So actually this is the reactions for a fixed beam. So these are the reactions. Okay, so now I want to remove this one, this moment reaction. By removing this moment reaction, I am applying a moment here. So here anti-clockwise direction moment is acting, fixed moment is anti-clockwise. I am applying clockwise moment to counteract this one. So this moment is released. So to counteract this one, I want to release this one. So I need to apply a moment in the opposite direction. Okay. So let us suppose this is the horizontal reactions. This is the horizontal reaction. Let us suppose this is the horizontal reaction. So I want to release that horizontal reaction by applying a force in opposite direction. I want to apply a force in the opposite direction. So this is the determinate structure. So first step we need to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy. In second step we need to convert indeterminate structure into determinate structure by releasing the unknown redundant forces. By releasing the redundant forces. So now if you see, we calculate for this one for degree of static indeterminacy. For this degree of static indeterminacy is 0. So for this beam, number of unknowns is 3. So we can analyze easily. So this is second step. In third step, we need to assign the coordinate directions. Third step, we need to assign the coordinate direction to the resultant forces released. So we need to assign the redundant force direction. We need to assign the coordinates to the redundant force direction. So let us assume this as coordinate 1, this will be coordinate 2, and this will be the coordinate 3. So I want to assign the coordinates. So in third step, I am assigning the coordinates. So after that, we need to calculate. So this is third step. In fourth step, we need to calculate delta deformation due to loading. We need to calculate deformation due to loading at coordinate 1. These values we need to calculate. Delta also deformation due to loading at coordinate 1 direction, deformation due to loading at coordinate direction 2, as well as deformation due to loading at coordinate direction 3. Those values we need to calculate. So delta 1L. So this is the delta 1L here. Delta 2L. So this is the delta 2L. So this is the delta 3L. So these are the deformation due to loading. So because of the loading, these are the deformations. Delta 1L, delta 2L, delta 3L. So how to calculate this deformation due to loadings? So we need to, because of the application of load, we have to draw the free bending moment diagram. So free bending moment diagram we need to draw. That means we need to remove all redundant forces in a fixed beam. We will consider these beams as a simply supported beam by considering individual simply. If a continuous beam is there, so we need to split that continuous beam into simply supported beams. Let us suppose this is one continuous beam. I'm just splitting into 2 simply supported beams. Then I need to draw the bending moment diagram. So if uniform distributed load is acting for this first span, then the bending moment diagram will be parabolic variation here. If the point load is acting, then the bending moment variation is triangular variation. So like that, we need to draw the free bending moment diagram due to applied load. So applied load we need to calculate the maximum intensity. So that is the formula is WL square by 8 for the uniform distributed load, WL by 4 for point load acting at the center. So this is the variation. For this, so delta 1L will be, so delta 1L will be, so this is the coordinate 1. So delta 1L will be reaction at A. So delta 1L will be reaction at A for this conjugate beam. So this will be the conjugate beam. So RA will be the delta 1L. So just to calculate RA, reaction at A for this given loading. E loading ki we need to calculate RA. We calculate RA value. So that will be the delta 1L. So delta 2L will be, so delta 2 delta 2L will be reaction at B. Okay. So delta 3L will be, so depending upon the coordinate direction, we are going to calculate the delta 3L. So coordinate direction, by considering the coordinate direction, delta 3L we are going to calculate, that's reaction at B or reaction at A. So that is the delta 1L, delta 2L, delta 3L. So these are the deformation due to loadings we are going to calculate from the conjugate beam concept. So this is the fourth step. In fifth step, in fifth step, step number 5, I'm writing here. Step number 5, we need to calculate the delta 11, delta 12, delta 21, delta 22. So stiffness matrix, flexibility matrix coefficients we need to calculate. So how to calculate the flexibility coefficients? So first, for this, what we need to do is, for this, let us suppose this, I'm considering this beam. For this beam, we need to apply unit force at coordinate direction 1. First, removing all these redundant forces, just apply unit force at coordinate direction 1. Apply unit force at coordinate direction 1 and calculate. We need to, by applying this unit force at coordinate direction 1, we need to draw the free bending moment diagram. For this free bending moment diagram, we need to calculate delta 11. How to calculate delta 11? So delta 11 can be calculated as, we need to multiply this area of this M by A diagram. This is the conjugate beam. This will be considered the conjugate beam. So M by EI diagram multiply with 2 by 3 into M by area of triangle. So delta 21 will be calculated as delta 21. So this delta 21 at coordinate direction 2. If you are load applied at coordinate 1, load, this is first term will be the load. Load applied at coordinate direction 1. Corresponding deformation at coordinate direction 2. Corresponding deformation at coordinate direction 2. That will be the delta 21. So delta 21 will be equal to 1/3 of. So 2 1 1 2 1 we need to multiply with 1/3 of area of the M by A diagram. Area of the M by A diagram. So this is delta 21. Similarly, delta 22. So delta 22 how to calculate? So by applying unit force at coordinate direction 2. So coordinate direction 2 and so we need to apply coordinate direction 2 and we need to draw the M by A diagram. So this is the coordinate direction 2. So we need to draw the M by A diagram. For this, delta 22 will be here. Delta 22 will be equal to 2/3 of area of this triangle. So delta 22 gani delta 11 gani we need to multiply with the 2 by 3 coefficient. 2/3 of area of triangle. This triangle. So delta 12 will be equal to 1/3 of area of triangle. Area of this M by A diagram. So like that we will going to calculate the delta 11, delta 21, delta 22, delta 12. All these values we will going to calculate. After that, so after calculation of this flexibility matrix, so we need to substitute. We need to write in the matrix form. So for if you are not, if there is a, if the settlement of support is not there, in that situation, this delta will be equal to, will be considered as 0. So right, if you write delta L matrix, so delta 1L, delta 2L, delta 3L. Next del matrix, that is the stiffness matrix, that is the flexibility matrix, sorry. This is the del will be the flexibility matrix. This is the displacement matrix. So this is the unknown force matrix. So if you solve del inverse of delta L will be the, you are going to get the forces, unknown forces. So this is, if you use the unit conjugate beam method, this will be the procedure. If you use the conjugate beam method, this will be the procedure. If you want to use the unit load, that means if you use unit load method, then the formula will be different for delta 11 and delta 1L. Okay, so this is easy and convenient for the solving conjugate beam method for the beams. Beams is this is the convenient method. So conjugate beam method is a convenient method. So once again, I'll explain the procedure. First, we need to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy. After that, we need to convert that indeterminate structure into determinate structure by releasing the redundant unknown forces. First, we will release the moments. After that, we need to release the horizontal forces. If an unknowns is there, then we need to release the vertical reactions also. Okay. So after releasing the structure, this indeterminate structure will become converted to the determinate structure. Indeterminate structure converted to the determinate structure. Further determinate structure, we need to draw the free body, that is bending moment diagram due to applied load. So bending moment diagram due to applied load. So we need to draw. So for the bending moment diagram due to applied load, we need to draw. So that will be considered as a loading. That bending moment diagram will be considered as a loading in conjugate beam method. So this will be the considered as a load in the conjugate beam method, and we need to calculate the deformation due to loading at coordinate direction 1 and coordinate direction 2, coordinate direction 3. So how to calculate delta 1L, that is deformation due to loading at coordinate direction 1 will be reaction at A. Deformation due to loading at coordinate direction 2 will be reaction at B. So reaction at B, for the calculation of reaction at B, we have two loads coming onto the reaction at B. So we need to consider these two loads. So how to calculate delta 3? So reaction at C, let us say. So this is the reaction at C. You need to calculate the reaction at C. From that you will going to get the delta 3. After calculation of this deformation due to loading, we need to calculate the flexibility matrix. So how to calculate the flexibility matrix? Del. So for the calculation of flexibility matrix, so we need to apply unit force in the coordinate direction 1. First coordinate direction 1 load in unit force apply. Because of this application of unit force, for this force we need to draw the bending moment diagram. So for this bending moment diagram we need to draw. So this is the bending moment diagram. For this bending moment diagram, this in conjugate beam method, so bending moment diagram will be considered as a load, and we need to calculate the delta 11. So delta 11 will be coefficient 2 by 3 into area of this triangle. 2 by 3 into area of this triangle. Okay. Delta 21 will be 1 by 3 into area of this triangle. So similarly, delta 22 can be calculated as by applying unit force in the coordinate direction 2, unit force in the coordinate direction 2, corresponding that because of the application of force, we need to draw the bending moment diagram. So bending moment diagram. So now this will be considered as a load, and we need to calculate the delta 22. Delta 22 will be equal to area of this M by A diagram multiplied with 2 by 3. So delta 12 will be equal to area of this M by A diagram multiplied with 1 by 3. Like that, we are going to calculate the stiffness, that is flexibility matrix. So after that, we need to substitute in this equation P is equal to del inverse of delta minus delta L. So delta will be 0 for if the support sinking is not there, and delta L values are we are calculated here. Del values we are calculated, that is stiffness coefficients. From that we will going to get the unknown redundant forces. I hope you understood this procedure. Respond anyone? Hello. So we will see one problem. Once again we will see one problem. Some of the students expressed that ఒకసారి మళ్ళొకసారి ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయండి అని చెప్పారు, అందుకోసం రిక్వెస్ట్ చేశారు పర్సనల్ గా. సో దట్స్ వై ఐఎమ్ రిపీటింగ్ దిస్ సెషన్. హలో. Yeah, right. We will move to the one problem. Is it clear?
Explain once more.
Procedure explain cheyala, problem explain cheyala. 64, respond. Feel free. Feel free. I will not. Feel free. Ask. ప్రాబ్లం ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తా ఒకసారి జాగ్రత్తగా వినండి నాన్న. ఏ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాబ్లం అయినా కూడా ఇదే ప్రొసీజర్, చాలా సింపుల్ గా ఉంటది. ఏ టైప్ ఆఫ్ అయినా కూడా ఇదే ప్రొసీజర్ ఉంటది నాన్న, పెద్ద మీరు వరీ కావాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఫస్ట్ థింగ్, లిసన్ కేర్ఫుల్లీ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ. So this is a continuous two span continuous beam is given. Support A is a fixed support is given. Its support B roller and support C is also roller. So we need first step, we need to calculate the degree of static inertness. So degree of static inertness will be equal to number of unknown forces minus equilibrium equation. So number of unknown forces, here it is a number of unknowns. Here at support A, number of unknowns: horizontal reaction, vertical reaction, moment reaction. So three unknowns is there. At B, one vertical reaction is there. At C, one vertical reaction is there. For roller support, one vertical reaction is unknown reaction. At roller support, support B, unknown reaction is vertical reaction. So total number of unknowns is 5. Equilibrium equations we have 3, that is sigma fx is equal to 0 and sigma fy is equal to 0. Summation of moments at any section equal to 0. These are the 3 equilibrium equations is available. So now the static inertness of the structure, given structure is 2. So that means the degree of static inertness of the structure is 2. Okay. So right, we need to release 2 unknown redundants. So from this we can conclude that we need to release the 2 రెండు unknown forces ని కనుక మనం రిలీజ్ చేస్తే అది డిటర్మినెంట్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అవుతుంది. ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ లో ఏంటి, స్టాటిక్ ఇనర్ట్నెస్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసాం. సెకండ్ స్టెప్ లో ఏంటి, we need to convert that indeterminate structure into determinate structure. How to convert that indeterminate structure into determinate structure? By releasing the unknown forces. ఇక్కడ మనకు ఒకటి unknown force ఒకటి రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నాండి. బై అప్లైయింగ్, యాక్చువల్ గా మూమెంట్ రియాక్షన్ ఈ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి దానికి ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఒక ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసి ఈ ఫిక్స్డ్ సపోర్ట్ ని తీసేస్తున్నాం. ఫిక్స్డ్ సపోర్ట్ కాస్త ఏమవుతుంది, హింజ్డ్ సపోర్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. ఇంకా చూడండి, ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఇక్కడ ఇది కంటిన్యూస్ బీమ్ కాబట్టి, ఇక్కడ ఫిక్స్డ్ ఎండ్ మూమెంట్ వచ్చే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుందండి. ఈ ఫిక్స్డ్ ఎండ్ మూమెంట్ వస్తుంది కాబట్టి ఏ డైరెక్షన్ లో వస్తుంది మూమెంట్, ఈ డైరెక్షన్ లో వస్తుంది. దీనికి నేను ఏం చేస్తున్నా అంటే ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్ లో మూమెంట్ అప్లై చేసి ఇది కూడా నేను రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నా. ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్ లో మూమెంట్ అప్లై చేసి దీన్ని కూడా రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నా. Yeah. So this is the released structure. Okay. So this indeterminate structure will convert it to the determinate structure. ఫస్ట్ మనము మూమెంట్ ని రిలీజ్ చేయాలండి. ఇది కంటిన్యూస్ బీమ్ కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ ఒక ఫిక్స్డ్ మూమెంట్ ఉంటుందండి, దీన్ని రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నాను నేను. ఇక్కడ ఒక ఇది ఫిక్స్డ్ సపోర్ట్ కాబట్టి దీనికి ఒక ఫిక్స్డ్ మూమెంట్ ఉంటుంది, దీన్ని కూడా రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నాను. సో రెండింటిని రిలీజ్ చేశాను. మనకు స్టాటిక్ ఇండెటర్మినెన్స్ 2 కాబట్టి రెండింటిని రిలీజ్ చేస్తే అది దిస్ ఇండెటర్మినెట్ స్ట్రక్చర్ కన్వర్టెడ్ టు ది డిటర్మినెట్ స్ట్రక్చర్ కన్వర్ట్ అయింది. ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి, we need to draw the bending moment diagram due to loading. Bending moment diagram due to loading we need to draw by considering the two individual simply supported beams. We need to draw the bending moment diagram due to applied load we need to draw. So this is the uniform distributor load is there. For the uniform distributor load, the bending moment is maximum at the center. The intensity of bending moment is maximum bending moment. The applied bending moment is, the formula is WL square by 8. So right, so W is 60, L value 4, L square by 8. So if you substitute it, you will going to get the maximum bending moment. So here we are getting 120 kilonewton meter. So maximum bending moment at the center we are getting 120 kilonewton meter. So this is the bending moment due to applied load. So I am converted to two individual simply supported beams. So this is the bending moment for the first span, is the 120 kilonewton meter. For the second span, is the WL by 4 bending moment for simply supported beam. Point load is acting at the center. For that, the formula is WL by 4. So 75 kilonewton meter. So this is the 75 kilonewton meter. So just to draw the free bending moment diagram due to applied load. So this is the free bending moment diagram. So just this is the bending moment diagram. Just divide with the EI. So this will become, this beam become conjugate beam. So this is the conjugate beam. మనకి యాక్చువల్ గా డ్యూ టు అప్లైడ్ లోడ్ యూనిఫామ్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటర్ లోడ్ కి బెండింగ్ మూమెంట్ వేరియేషన్ ఎట్లుంటదండి, పారాబోలిక్ వేరియేషన్. జస్ట్ డ్రా ది పారాబోలిక్ వేరియేషన్. The maximum intensity 120 kilonewton meter. So this is the 120 kilonewton meter. So this is parabolic variation. For point load, the variation is triangular variation. Okay. So just divide with EI. So M by EI. So M by EI diagram we need to draw. So this is the M divided by, just divide with EI. So this will in M by EI diagram. So this whole structure, this will become a conjugate beam now. So this will become a conjugate beam. So this is the conjugate beam. Right, we need to calculate. So for this, we need to calculate delta 1L, delta 2L. So first, before that, we need to assign the coordinate directions. After this step, we need to assign the coordinate directions. Step 3, we need to assign the coordinate directions. Coordinate direction. So how to assign the coordinate direction? So here we are released one structure. We released one moment. So this will be considered the coordinate direction 1. Here we are released one moment. So this is the coordinate direction. So number of how many number of coordinates we need to release? This depends upon the degree of static independence. Static independence 2 only కాబట్టి 2 coordinate directions వస్తాయండి. 2 coordinate directions వస్తాయి. After that we need to draw the bending moment diagram. After that we need to draw the M by A diagram. So this is the M by A diagram. For this we need to calculate the delta 1L and delta 2L. So delta 1L will be displacement due to loading at coordinate direction 1. అంటే ఇక్కడ అన్నట్టు. So that means delta 1L will be equal to reaction at A. So delta 2L అంటే moment, that is the coordinate direction 2. Coordinate direction ఇక్కడ ఉంది, 2 ఇక్కడ ఉంది. That is delta 2L will be equal to RB. Delta 1L will be equal to RE. So RB అన్నప్పుడు మనకు half of the load coming from RB is equal to half of the load coming from this parabolic portion plus half of the load coming from triangular portion. RA will be equal to half of the load coming from this parabolic portion. So total load divided by 2 చేయండి, RA వస్తుంది. దీనికి total load divided by 2, RB కావాలంటే RB is equal to total load of parabola divided by 2 plus total load of this triangular load divided by 2. You will going to get the RB. So RA value, that is delta 1L is equal to half of the total load. So how to calculate the area of this parabola? Total load calculate చేయాలంటే ఏరియా ఆఫ్ పారాబోలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలి. ఏరియా ఆఫ్ పారాబోలా ఎట్లుంటుంది అంటే, ఏరియా ఆఫ్ పారాబోలా ఫార్ములా ఏంటంటే, జనరల్ ఫార్ములా ఏంటంటే, సో దిస్ విల్ బి పారాబోలా, దిస్ ఇస్ ద రెక్టాంగిల్. సో ఏరియా ఆఫ్ పారాబోలా విల్ బి ఈక్వల్ టు 2/3 ఆఫ్ ఏరియా ఆఫ్ rectangular area. So rectangle area, parabolic area will be equal to 2/3 of rectangular area. This is B and this is H. 2/3 of B into H. Okay, right. So area of the parabola is 2/3 of base is 4 meters. Height is 120 by A. Height is 120 by A. So ఇందులో half, ఈ ఏరియాలో half will be considered as RA. So సపోర్ట్ కి ఇందులో ఈ టోటల్ లోడ్ లో సపోర్ట్ ఏ కి ఎంత వస్తుంది అని అంటే, ఈ టోటల్ లోడ్ లో హాఫ్ వస్తుందండి. సో టోటల్ లోడ్ డివైడ్ బై 2, దట్ ఇస్ 160 by A. సపోర్ట్ బి కూడా 160 by A వస్తుంది. హాఫ్ ఆఫ్ ది లోడ్ అంటే 160 by EI ప్లస్ ఈ ట్రయాంగులర్ లోడ్ లో కూడా హాఫ్ వస్తుందండి ఆర్బి మీదకి, సపోర్ట్ బి మీదకి. కాబట్టి we need to calculate that one also. So this is the parabolic total load of parabolic portion. This is the total load of triangular portion. Half of the triangle area of triangular portion, just add it, you will going to get the delta 2L. So we are getting delta 1L and delta 2L. So after getting delta 1L and delta 2L, so our aim, we need to move to the next step, that is the 5th step. Step 5, we need to form the flexibility matrix. So that is delta 1 1, delta 1 2, delta 2 1, delta 2. So this matrix we need to form. So what is meant by delta 1 1? So delta 1 1 will be equal to, if you apply unit force at coordinate direction 1, corresponding displacement at coordinate direction 1, displacement. So that will be the delta 1. What is delta 2 1? If you apply unit force at coordinate direction 1, so displacement at coordinate direction 2, that will be the delta 2 1. That's right. So how to solve that one, we will see here. So this is the first I am drawing this beam, that is AB, BC. So AB, BC, two simply supported beams I just drawn. So for the calculation of delta 1 1 and delta 2 1, I need to apply unit force at coordinate direction 1. Here unit force is nothing but unit force in the coordinate direction. So coordinate direction is the moment directions. That means we need to apply 1 kilonewton meter in the coordinate direction 1. So because of this application of this moment, we need to draw bending moment diagram for this continuous beam, for this two span continuous beam. So I'm 1 kilonewton meter movement నేను అప్లై చేశాను కోఆర్డినేట్ డైరెక్షన్ 1 డైరెక్షన్ లో. సో అప్పుడు ఏమైతుంది, బెండింగ్ మూమెంట్ వేరియేషన్ ఎట్లుంటుంది అంటే, ఇక్కడ బెండింగ్ మూమెంట్ ఇస్ 1 కిలోమీటర్ మీటర్, హియర్ ఇట్ ఇస్ బెండింగ్ మూమెంట్ ఇస్ 0, హియర్ ఇట్ ఇస్ బెండింగ్ మూమెంట్ ఇస్ 0. జస్ట్ డ్రా ద బెండింగ్ మూమెంట్ డయాగ్రామ్. సో దిస్ ఇస్ 1, intensity is 1, here it is 0, here it is 0. Just join these 2 points, you will form this variation. Just divide with this maximum ordinate, divide with EI. So this will become the conjugate beam. This beam will become conjugate beam. So right, first for the calculation of delta 1 1. So delta 1 1 ekkada untadandi, ikkada untadi. This will be the delta 1 1. If you apply unit force at coordinate direction 1, displacement coordinate direction ante ikkada. So delta 2 1, delta 2 1 ikkada untadi. Delta 2 1 ante enti, if you apply unit force at coordinate direction 1, displacement coordinate direction 2 ante coordinate direction displacement 2 దగ్గర అంటే ఇక్కడ కదండి, 1 దగ్గర ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసినాం. సో ఇట్లా మనం ఫోర్స్ అప్లై 1 దగ్గర ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ 2 దగ్గర అనేది డెల్టా 2 1 రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తుంది. సో హౌ టు క్యాలిక్యులేట్ డెల్టా 1 1? డెల్టా 1 1 విల్ బి ఈక్వల్ టు కోఎఫిషియంట్ 2/3, డెల్టా 1 1 కానీ డెల్టా 2 2 కానీ యూ నీడ్ టు మల్టిప్లై విత్ కోఎఫిషియంట్ 2/3 into area of this triangle, half into base into height. Base is 4 meters, height is 1 by EI. So this will be the, if you calculate it, you will going to get the delta 1 1. So how to get the delta 2 1? Delta 2 1 will be equal to coefficient for the calculation of delta 2 1. This is 1 by 3. 1/3 of area of this triangle. Area of this triangle, half into base into height. So this is the delta 2 1. So now for the calculation of delta 2 1, delta 1 1 వచ్చిందండి. Just to simplify చేయండి. So delta 1 1 4 by 3a వస్తుంది. delta 1 1 4 by 3a వస్తుంది. delta 2 1 2 by 3a వచ్చింది. Next, for the calculation of delta 2 2 and delta 1 2, delta 2 2 and delta 1 2, what it means, if you apply unit force at coordinate direction 2, displacement at coordinate direction 2 will be delta 2. Displacement at coordinate direction 1 will be delta 1. అంటే just remove unit force at coordinate direction 1 and apply unit force at coordinate direction 2. For this, we need to draw the bending moment diagram. So itla manam apply cheyadam valla emayindi, ikkada moment emaithundi 1 kilonewton meter untadi. Moment here it is 1 kilonewton meter. At A, bending moment is 0. At C, bending moment is 0. Just join these two lines. You just join 2 points. So this is the bending moment variation diagram. Just divide with EI. M by EI diagram also. This will be the conjugate beam. So this will be the conjugate beam. If this will be the conjugate beam, we unit force applied at coordinate direction 2. So now how to calculate delta 2 2? Delta 2 ante ikkada andi, delta 2 2. Delta 1 2 ante ikkada. So delta 1 2 దగ్గర ఓన్లీ ఒకటే ట్రయాంగిల్ ఉందండి. డెల్టా 2 2 దగ్గర రెండు ట్రయాంగిల్స్ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అవుతుంది. సో డెల్టా 2 2 విల్ బి ఈక్వల్ టు, we need to multiply 2 by 3. డెల్టా 2 2 కానీ డెల్టా 1 2 1 1 ఉన్నప్పుడు we need to multiply with 2 by 3 coefficient. So 2 by 3 into area of this first triangle plus area of the second triangle. Okay, area of the first triangle, area of the second triangle. The area of first triangle is, hello, is there any doubts? Hello. So area of first triangle is half into base is 4 meters, height is 1 by EI plus area of second triangle, that is half into base is 3 meters, this is 3 meters and this is 4 meters, this 3 base is 3 meters, 1 by EI. So just add it. If you simplify this one, you are going to get the delta 2 2 and the delta 1 2. So delta 1 2 is involved only for the first triangle. So delta 1 2 will be equal to. So for the delta 1 2 or delta 2 1, the coefficient is 1 by 3 into area of triangle half into base is 4 meters, height is 1 by 8. So if you simplify this one, you will go into the delta 1 2 delta 2. So delta 1 2 will be equal to 2 by 3i. Delta 2 2 will be equal to 7 by 3i. Okay. So but here the final displacement is 0 because the settlement of support is not there. So delta 1 1, delta 1 and delta 2 equal to 0. So now we are formed displacement due to loading matrix, that is delta 1L and delta 2L, as well as flexibility matrix also we are formed delta 1 1, delta 2 1, that is delta 1 2, delta 2. So displacement due to loading that we are formed, just to substitute in this equation, del into P will be equal to delta minus delta L. For this case, so delta values will be equal to 0, only delta L values are there, and just to substitute it, del value, that is just now we are calculated, this is delta 1 1, this is delta 1 2, and delta, that is delta 2 1 and delta 1 2, delta 2. This is a force matrix, and this is the displacement matrix, total displacement matrix. This is 0, delta displacement due to loading. Those values are calculated. The first step, delta 2L will be 216.25 by A. Delta 1L will be equal to 160 by A. Just substitute these values. You will going to get the you need to substitute and you need to just inverse of this matrix and multiplication of this matrix. You will go finally you will find you will going to get the force matrix, unknown force matrix, that is P1 P2. So P1 will be equal to 85.875 kilonewton meter and P2 will be equal to 68.250. Okay, so here we are considering this as force. So there is a redundant forces. So redundant forces, P1 will be equal to 85.875. What is P1? That is end moment. So P1 will be equal to end fixed moments. That is 85.875. So this is the coordinate direction 1. So coordinate direction 2 and the 68.250. 68.250. So now for this we need to draw bending moment diagram. How to draw the bending moment diagram? Let's draw the free body free bending moment diagram due to applied load. For the first span, a uniform distributor load is acting. For the first span, uniform distributor load is acting. For uniform distributor loading, the maximum bending moment will going to occur at the center. The intensity of maximum bending moment will be equal to WL square by 8. So W value is, it is when if you calculate it, you will going to get that is 120 kilonewton meter. So for the second span, the point load is acting. If you calculate the maximum ordinate of bending moment, you will going to get the 75 kilonewton meter. Just now we are seeing about that one. We are calculated the conjugate beam. That we are already calculated. I am not calculating here. That is 75 kilonewton meter. You are going to get. Yeah, this is the due to applied load. Now the bending moment due to end moments. So end moments we are getting this 85. Just locate a point here. 85 is 0.875. And at point B we have 68.250. Just locate here. Let's see. Anyhow, this is the roller support. For the roller support, the bending moment is 0. Just join these 3 points. Join these 3 points. So this will be the fixed end moment diagram. So this is the free bend moment diagram and this is the fixed bend moment diagram. So these values. So this hatched portion will be represent the net negative bending moment. So this hatched portion will be represents the net positive bending moment. So this will be the net negative bending moment. This will be net positive bending moment. This is the bending moment diagram due to bending moment diagram for the given loading and given conditions. So this is about the problem. I hope you understood this problem. Is there any doubts in this problem? Just let me know. Students, you can ask if you have any doubts. Otherwise, you can respond. అర్థమైతే అర్థమైందని చెప్పండి, లేదంటే సరే ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయని చెప్పండి. డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి నన్ను. యూనిట్ రెస్పాండ్ 1/3 2/3 ఎందుకు మల్టిప్లై? దే ఆర్ కోఎఫిషియెంట్స్ ఇన్ దిస్ మెథడ్. దట్ ఇస్ in this conjugate beam method. So that is a procedure. We need to multiply with 2/3 for the. Actually, we are applying load at coordinate direction 1, displacement at coordinate same direction. For that, we need to multiply with 2/3 and 1/3. So for this method, he is adapted these values. So this is a specific method. For this specific method, for 1/1 or 2/2 or 3/3, we need to multiply with coefficient 2/3. Like our మనకు ఏంటి సెంట్రాయిడ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ లో ఇటు నుంచి 2/3 ఇటు నుంచి 1/3 అని ఉంటుంది చూడండి, అదే కాన్సెప్ట్. కాకుంటే మనం లోడింగ్ ఇట్ డిపెండ్స్ అపాన్ అప్లైడ్ ఫోర్స్ అన్నమాట. అప్లైడ్ ఫోర్స్ ని బట్టి దిస్ కోషియంట్స్ విల్ గోయింగ్ టు డిఫర్. ఓకే, ఎనీ డౌట్స్ అదర్ దెన్ దిస్? Is it clear for you? This problem is clear?
Yes, sir.
Someone need to respond other than 64. Rule number 128L. Are you there? Rule number 128L. Hello? Is not there. Just rule number 83. Is also not there. 129L. Rule number 78. Rule number 97. Rule number 72. Yeah, అర్థమైందా అండి ప్రాబ్లమ్?
Yes, sir.
ఏం ప్రాబ్లం డిస్కస్ చేసాం మనం? Which method we are discussing?
Matrix method.
Very good. Flexibility matrix method. Okay. So just a simple technique. This is a simple technique for degree of indeterminacy 2 దానికి మాత్రమే మనం ఇక్కడ మన కరికులం లో ఉందండి. Just that's why I just explained here. So now I will move to the next problem, that is a framed problem and truss problem. In that I've just used a moment that is unit load method. That is a different concept. By using the unit load method, you can also solve the same problem. Unit load పెట్టేసి కూడా మనము సేమ్ ప్రాబ్లం కూడా సాల్వ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. But this is easy for you for the analyzing continuous beams. Okay, right. Now I'll move to the next concept, that is the frames, analysis of truss and frames. Yeah, right. First we will discuss about the truss. After that we will move to the frame. Analyze the pin joint plane. Analyze the pin jointed plane frame as shown in figure by flexibility matrix method. The number of, so the cross section area is given here. This is the cross section area of the section for this EF section, EF beam. If you take cross section, this is the 3000 mm square, the cross section area. So this is the cross section area is given for different members. Those lengths is also given. Okay. So now we need to analyze using the flexibility matrix method. Right. So here, if we need to calculate for this type of structures, we need to calculate degree of external indeterminacy plus degree of internal indeterminacy. DSI, DSE, DSI as well as DSE we need to calculate. Okay. So DSE will be equal to number of unknown support reactions. So here we have two support reactions. So number of DSE is equal to number of unknown reactions minus equilibrium equations. Here we have one. So DSI can be calculated as m minus 2j minus 3. So this is the formula m minus 2j minus number of members minus 2j minus 3. So this is the formula for the calculation of internal indeterminacy. So for this you will going to get 1. You calculate if you will going to get 1. So total degree of static indeterminacy for the structure is 2. So total degree of static indeterminacy for this structure is 2. Okay. So after calculation of static indeterminacy, what we need to release the structure. So we need two redundant forces. We need to release first step లో static indeterminacy చేసామండి. తర్వాత ఏం చేయాలి? We need to convert indeterminate structure into determinate structure. How to convert the indeterminate structure into determinate structure? ఇక్కడ మనం క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసిన దాని ప్రకారం ఒకటి ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఇండిటర్మినసీ ఉంది, ఒకటి ఇంటర్నల్ ఇండిటర్మినసీ ఉందండి. అంటే we need to release one force, one reaction force we need to release. That means I want to release one force here, horizontal force I want to release. So this will be the coordinate direction 1, let us say. And I want to release a one member force I want to release. So right, I want to release this member. I want to release this member force. Okay. So this is the coordinate direction 2. So assign the release the redundant forces, force 1 and force 2. I am assigning the coordinate directions. So after releasing this one, so this is just released is one. This will be the coordinate 1 and this will be coordinate 2. Okay. They are taken differently. You can take this as 2 also. This is 1 and this is 2. After that, we need to make this table. This is exclusive. This method is only for this stress problems. So for the stress problems, we need to make this table. So first we need to write the number of members. First we have to write members. Member AB, member BC, member CD, member DE, member EF. Like that we need to write all the members. After that we need to calculate L by A. What is L by A? Length by cross sectional area. So length of member by cross section area we need to calculate. After that we need to calculate the forces acting in this member by using method of joints or method of sections. So first to take summation of sigma fx is equal to 0 at joint A. Consider joint A. Calculate if you sigma fx is equal to 0, sigma fy is equal to solve చేసుకుంటే you will going to get the force in the member AF, force in the member AF as well as force in the member AB. So likewise, if you just calculate summation of consider joint B and the summation of sigma fx is equal to 0, sigma fy is equal to 0, just do it at joint B. Similarly, if you do all these to all the joints, sigma fx is equal to 0, sigma fy is equal to 0, you will going to go to the forces in the member, axial forces in the members. So that we need to write here whether it is, if you can consider tensile force is positive and compressive force is negative, then if you get the values are negative values, then we need to write here. So compressive will be considered as negative, tension forces will be considered as positive, and you need to write the forces in the member by using method of joints or method of sections we need to calculate. So K1 will be, so K1, how to calculate K1? K1 is the, if you apply, just to remove this unit force at coordinate direction 2, just apply unit force in the coordinate direction 1. Coordinate direction lo unit force ichchamandi. Just applied unit force in the coordinate direction 1 by using method of joints or method of sections. By using method of joints or method of sections, if you calculate forces developed in all these members, consider joint C and calculate sigma fx is equal to 0, sigma fy is equal to 0. You will going to get the force in the member because of the application of unit force at coordinate direction 1. Force developed in the member CD, force developed in the member CD, force developed in the member CE, force developed in the member CB, that you will going to get. Okay, like that, if you consider all the joints, and calculate sigma forces developed in all this member by applying sigma fx is equal to 0, sigma fy is equal to 0 for all the joints. So you will going to get all the forces. Okay, so just represent forces developed in the member AB when you apply unit force at coordinate direction 1. Coordinate direction 1 lo unit force apply cheste AB member lo force ఎంత డెవలప్ అయిందంటే 0 డెవలప్ అయింది. BC member లో -0.6 డెవలప్ అయింది. CD member లో 0 అయింది. So just calculate it. All just represent here. So now K2 will be, so K2 ఎట్లా వస్తుంది అంటే just remove unit force in the coordinate direction 1 and apply unit force in the coordinate direction 2. Apply unit force in the coordinate direction 2 and calculate the forces developed in all these members. Forces developed in all these members by using method of joints. By using method of joints, we calculate force developed in all these members, and you're going to get this K2 column. Force developed in the AB member 0, BC member 0, CD member 0. Like that, you can able to calculate the force developed in all these members. After that, calculate PK1 L by A. One multiplication. This we calculate PK2 L by A. Just multiply P term, K2 term, L by A term. ఇవి 3 మల్టిప్లై చేయండి, ఒక ఈ కాలం వస్తుంది. ఇవి 3 మల్టిప్లై చేయండి, ఇంకో కాలం వస్తుంది. నౌ K1 square L by A, just K1 square L by A calculate చేయండి. K1 K2 L by A, K2 square by L by A, just to calculate all these terms and represent here and just submit these values. Finally you will going to get this values. So now delta 1L will be equal to summation of PK1L by AE. So PK1L by AE summation చూడండి, PK1L by AE summation ఎక్కడ ఉంది, ఇక్కడ ఉంది, that is 1068.5 by EI AE. So that is 1 minus 1068.5. A value is there but E value not there, by E. Delta 2L ఇది. So now delta 11 will be equal to PK1 square L by AE. So summation of PK1 square L by AE. Delta 12 will be equal to K1 K2 L by AE. Delta 2 to K2 square L by AE. So these are. After that, just substitute in this equation. Del into P will be equal to del minus delta L. Del minus delta L. So just substitute it and solve for P1 and P2. Solve for P1 and P2. You will going to get, finally you will going to get a forces. Okay. So final force will be P into K1 P1 plus K2 P2. So like that, all these forces in the members that we need to calculate. Okay. So that is about the problem, truss problem. So I want to take 10 minutes extra. With your permission, I want to continue this frame problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So I want to continue this frame problem. Why? Because I am recording this video, I will upload in YouTube. Just if you have any free time, lo మీరు చూడండి అది. Free time లో చూస్తే మీకు కొంచెం idea వస్తుంది. Right. So analyze the portal frame by using flexibility matrix method. So here I want to use another method, that is unit load method. Unit load method I am using, that is. So for this portal frame, so this is the portal frame. This is a loading, that is at a joint B, a 50 kilonewton is loading is acting, and for the BC span 30 kilonewton per meter is acting. Okay, the length of BC is 4 meter, length of AB is 4 meter, length of CD is 2 meters. Right. So for in flexibility matrix method, in the first step, what we need to do is we need to calculate the degree of static indeterminacy. So here, this is like something like a beam structure. So how to calculate? Only this is for this, we have only external indeterminacy will be there. So only we need to calculate external indeterminacy, that is number of unknown reactions at the supports minus static equilibrium equations. So we have two supports, support A and support B, support A and support D. Support A we have 3 unknown reactions, support D we have 3 unknown reactions. So total number of unknowns we have 6, but static equilibrium equations is we have 3. So static indeterminacy for the structure is 3. Static indeterminacy for the structure is 3. So that means we need to release the 3 redundant forces. So we need to release 3 redundant forces. If you release that structure, this should be a stable structure. మనం రిలీజ్ చేసిన తర్వాత స్ట్రక్చర్ అనేది స్టేబుల్ స్ట్రక్చర్ గా ఉండాలండి, స్టేబుల్ గా ఉండాలి స్ట్రక్చర్, అట్లా మనం రిలీజ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, సో ఐ వాంట్ టు రిలీజ్, ఫస్ట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు రిలీజ్ ది horizontal force, that is horizontal force I want to release, that is horizontal reaction ఈ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఉంటుంది, దానికి ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేసి దీన్ని రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నాను. నెక్స్ట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు రిలీజ్ వర్టికల్ రియాక్షన్. After that I want to release the moment reaction. Right. After that we need to assign the coordinate directions. Actually in our curriculum 3 magnitude is not there, only 2 magnitude is there. So you use, if it is hinged support, we need to release that hinge, that means horizontal force. Let us suppose this is the hinged support. So in our curriculum only second degree of indeterminacy is there. So let us suppose this is actually we got the degree of indeterminacy is 3. I am considering the same problem with one end is fixed support, another end is hinged support. One end is fixed support, is another end is hinged support. For this we need to calculate first static indeterminacy. Static indeterminacy, number of unknowns, here we have 2, here we have 3. Number of unknowns 5, 5 minus 3 we are getting second degree of indeterminacy, 2 degree of indeterminacy. That means we need to release 2 redundant forces. So for this hinged support I want to release one horizontal force, one vertical force. So I am considering this as coordinate direction 1 and this is coordinate direction 2. Coordinate direction 1 and coordinate direction 2. And we need to use I want to use this unit load method for this. So unit load method I am using for the coordinate directions. So coordinate direction 1 movement is m1, coordinate direction 2 movement is m2, small m2, coordinate direction 3 movement is m3, small m3. Right. So moment due to applied load is capital M. Moment due to applied load is capital M. Due to unit loads in the coordinate directions. Due to unit load in the coordinate direction. So due to unit load in the coordinate direction 1, that will be m1. Due to application of unit load in the coordinate direction 2, that will be m2. So m1 ఉంటుంది, m2 ఉంటుంది, m3 ఉండదు. ఇప్పుడు మన ప్రాబ్లంలో m3 ఉండదు, ఓన్లీ m1 m2 ఉంటుందండి. ఎందుకంటే మనము సెకండ్ డిగ్రీ ఆఫ్ ఇండిటర్మినసీ కోసమే మనం చూస్తున్నాం, థర్డ్ డిగ్రీ ఆఫ్ ఇండిటర్మినసీ ప్రాబ్లం మనకు అవసరం ఇప్పుడు సిలబస్ లేదు. ఓకే, బై అప్లికేషన్ ఆఫ్ యూనిట్ ఫోర్స్ ఇన్ కోఆర్డినేట్ డైరెక్షన్ 1 అంటే ఏం చేస్తున్నాం అంటే ఫస్ట్ మనం ఈ లోడింగ్ అంతా తీసేసి ఏం చేస్తామనంటే కోఆర్డినేట్ డైరెక్షన్ 1 లో మనకు యూనిట్ ఫోర్స్ అప్లై చేస్తాం. By applying unit force in the coordinate direction 1, moment developed in CD, moment developed in the BC, moment developed in the AB, we need to represent. If you represent that one, that will be M1 column. So this is M1 row. So by applying unit force in the coordinate direction 1, by calculating moment in CD, moment in BC, moment in AB, that will represent small. So now M2, by applying unit force in the coordinate direction 2, by removing unit force in the coordinate direction 1, by applying unit force in the coordinate direction 2, that will be M2. We calculate force in the member CD, force in the member moment in the member CD, moment in the member CB, moment in the member BA or AB, that will be present M2. What is M then? So M is the capital M. Capital M is the moment developed in all this member because of the application of the load. So application of 50 kilonewton load is acting horizontal at direction at support B. 30 kilonewton per meter is acting for the BC span. So because of this application of this load, whatever the moment developed in the CD and moment developed in the BC and moment developed in the AB, to calculate, that will represent the moment M. Okay, right. I want to draw the same thing here for the easy explanation purpose. I want to draw here, students. So if you have interest, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave the session. If you have interest, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave the session. I will take the attendance afterwards. Okay, right. Right. I want to draw. This frame. I want to draw that frame, the same frame. So for this, a uniform distributed load of 30 kilonewton meter is acting, and its support B, a 50 kilonewton is acting. 50 kilonewton, 30 kilonewton per meter, that is 4 meter, and this is 4 meter, right? So the length of this column is 4 meters, 4 meters, and this is also 4 meter, and this is 2 meters, right? So this is support A, support B, support C, and support D. Now, so I'm just writing this column. First one will be portion, that is members. First DC member I'm writing, DC member, CD, CB member, BA member. Portion DC member, portion CB member, portion BA member. After that, flexural rigidity. Flexural rigidity for all these members is same. Those I am writing EI. Yeah. If it is different, we need to write here flexural rigidity. If it is 2EI, we need to write 2EI. If it is 3I, we need to write 3EI. Flexural rigidity for the CD member, EI. For the CB member, EI. For the AB member, EI. Next, for these members, we need to select the origins. For this DC member, I am taking origin as D. For the CB member, I am taking C as origin. For the BA member, I am taking B as origin. Okay. After that, the CD member limits length is 2. That means we are taking D as origin. That means here the load varies from here. That means 0 to 2 meters. Limit is 0 to 2. Here the C is taken as origin. If C is taken as origin, it varies from 0 to 4 meters. Okay. Limit for CD is 2 meters. Limit for CB is 4 meters. Limit for BA is 4 meters. Because if you take in B as origin, it will vary up to 0 to 4 meters. If you take a section here, it varies from 0 to 4 meters. X value vary from X is less than 0, less than 4. So if you take section in this BA member, so this is the representation. 0 X less than X is less than 4. So limit is 0 to 2 for the CD member. For the CB member is 0 to 4. For the AB member is 0 to 4. So now we need to calculate bending moment due to loading. So bending moment due to loading we need to calculate because of the application of load. So bending moment in CD. So bending moment in CD that we need to calculate. So because of the application of load, the bending moment, if you take a section here, anywhere, just you take section here, X. Here there is no load. If you take D as origin, there is no load. Because of load is 0, to take anywhere up to 0 to 2 meters, the bending moment in the CD member is 0. Just represent that. Now, to take a section in the CB member, if you want to calculate the bending moments, if you take CB member, bending moment in the CB member, how to calculate this is X. So bending moment at this section, bending moment at X will be equal to in the CB member. So this is the intensity is 30 kilonewton meter. The total load is 30 into X, which is act at a distance of X by 2 from the section. So that is 230, that is 15. So 15 X square will be the bending moment in the member BC due to applied load. So because of the 50 kilonewton load, effect is 0 because the load is passing through the section. Okay, right. So bending moment in the CB member is 15 X square. Now bending moment in the AB member. So for the calculation of bending moment in the AB member, we need to take a section. We need to take a section in the AB member. I want to take a section here which is located at a distance of X from the origin B. X from the B. Let us suppose Y anukunnam. X or Y anukunnam. So moment in AB to Y section like that. That is, so because of this one, because of 50 kilonewton load is acting, so that is bending moment is 50 into X or Y. So let us suppose this is X. 50 into X plus, so because of this application of load, total load will act at the center. Yeah, right. So some technical problem is there, the network issue is there, so I want to rectify this one. So bending moment due to 50 kilonewton load in the AB member, it is distance of at X distance is కొంచెం clumsy అయిందండి, just I want to write here. So this is B and this is C and this is D and this is A. I want to calculate the bending moment in the AB member. So right, so this is taken as origin. So this here 50 kilonewton is acting. The intensity of UDL is 30 kilonewton per meter. I want to take a section which is located X distance from the support B as origin. So now bending moment in AB will be equal to, here 50 kilonewton is acting, so 50 into X plus this 30 kilonewton per meter is acting. Total length is 4 meters, so total load will act at the center. So perpendicular distance is, this is 4 meters, so perpendicular distance is 2 meters. So total load multiply with the 2. So total load here 30 into 4. 30 into 4. That is 120. So 120 into 2, 240. That is 50 into X plus 240 is the bending moment acting in the member AB. At a section X from the origin B. From the B, the bending moment is here we have 15 to X plus 240. We are written. Next, small m1 will be bending moment due to unit of bending moment acting in the all this member by application of unit of force in the coordinate direction 1. By application of unit force in the coordinate direction 1, the bending moment in all the members will be represented by small m1. Okay, so I will represent here. So students, if you want leave, you can leave. Right, this is the beam. I want to apply unit force in the coordinate direction 1. That is unit force I'm applying here at coordinate direction 1. So this is coordinate A, B, C. So because of application of unit force in the coordinate direction 1, the moment developed in the CD. So moment developed in the CD. Let us suppose D as origin. So this is X. Moment developed in the CD will be force into perpendicular distance. So perpendicular distance is X. Force is 1 kilonewton. So it's acting anti-clockwise. So this will be considered negative. So bending moment in the CD by application of unit force in the coordinate direction 1 will be minus X. Next, just take a section here. Take a section in this CB member by taking C as the origin. So bending moment in the CB will be equal to, so this is X and this is 1. So this is 1. So this total distance is perpendicular distance is 2 meters. Force into perpendicular distance. So bending moment at section anywhere here it is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So force is 1 kilonewton, perpendicular distance is 2, which is acting anti-clockwise. So minus 2, force 1 into 2, minus 2, minus 2 in this BC member. Now take a section in the AB member. Take a section in a AB member and calculate bending moment. So this is minus 2 meters. Total distance is 4 meters. If it is within the 2 and after 2, just to take a section after 2 meters. So this is X, let us suppose. Then the force is 1 kilonewton. This is X. Force into perpendicular distance. So perpendicular distance is, so this will be the perpendicular distance, this will be the force. Force is 1 kilonewton, 1 into X actually. But we know this 2 meters. We know the 2 meters. So we need to deduct 2 meters from the X. So otherwise force into perpendicular distance so this will be considered as X, then this will be minus 2 plus X. So this will become minus 2 plus X. So this is M1. So now, so this is the application of unit force in the coordinate direction 1. The bending moment developed in the this member. So this will be the bending moment developed in this members. Now what I am doing is I want to apply unit force in the coordinate direction 2. I want to apply unit force in the coordinate direction 2. Right, I want to apply unit force in the coordinate direction 2. That is, so this is the unit force. We need to calculate moment developed in the member AB, BC, CD. So right, I want to take section here. So for the DC member, the load is passing through this DC member. So bending moment for the DC member is 0. M2. DC member bending moment is 0. Take a section here. Bending moment for the BC member. Force into perpendicular distance. So here force is 1 kilonewton. Perpendicular distance is X, which is because of this, which will affect is anti-clockwise effect. So anti-clockwise effect will be considered as a negative. That is minus X. So now take a section in AB span. So this is the force is 1 kilonewton. Perpendicular distance is 4 meters. Just calculate it. This will produce anti-clockwise effect. So minus 4. minus 4. Okay. Now what you need to do is, so this is the for the calculation of delta 1L. Delta 1L. So this will be the formula. Sigma capital M into M1 by EI into dx. Delta 1L capital M into M1 by EI into dx. Okay. So just multiply these two rows. These two rows you need to multiply and apply the limits. Apply the limits for this all these spans. First span is AB span is 0 to 4. Second span BC span is 0 to 4. Third span is 0 to 2. Apply it and calculate delta 1L by solving this one. You finally you will going to get delta 1L will be equal to, so this value minus 373.33. So for the calculation of delta 2L, you need to multiply capital M into M2, small m2. Integrate it. First one is 0 to 4, 0 to 4. After that, we have only 2 degree of indefiniteness is there, so just no need of calculation of this term. Okay, next delta 1 1. So for the calculation of flexibility matrix delta 1 1, you need to integrate m1 square by ei into dx. M1 square by ei into dx. For the first span, this limit is 0 to 2. For the second span, 0 to 4. Third span, 0 to 4. Just integrate it and apply the limits. Calculate it. Finally, you will get delta 1 1 will be 24 by 8. Delta 2 1 or delta 2 2, delta 1 1 or delta 2 2, delta 2 1 or delta 1 2 will be equal to integration of small m1 small m2 divided by ei into dx. So integrate it for calculate it. So integrate this one. So after getting these all these values, finally we need to substitute in this formula. Del into P equal to delta minus delta L. From this formula, if you apply it, you finally going to calculate the forces. These are the redundant forces. So this is the horizontal force, this is vertical force, this is the moment reaction. So like that we will going to calculate. Okay. So this is about the flexibility matrix for the beam, truss, and the frame. I hope you understood a little bit about this concept. So go through this video. I'll upload in this YouTube.